What's going on, my Cartelians? Cartel from Hell back again with another review. This time we're going to be reviewing this XM Studios Iron Man Mark 7 statue. It does have a worldwide edition size of 999 pieces, and it actually is a representation of Iron Man in the Avengers movie. And before we go ahead and get off any deeper into this review, I just want to let you guys know, if you guys aren't ready to go ahead and pay up for this piece, I would say don't even continue, because by the end of this review, you are absolutely going to want to buy this piece. I really feel like it's the best quarter scale representation of Iron Man out there, and for any Iron Man fans, it's definitely a must have, you guys. And actually this piece comes with a lot of different pieces that you have to go ahead and plug in. They're all magnetically applied to the statue. So the biggest feature and the biggest selling point of this statue is that you're actually getting two poses. That's right, I said it, two poses. And in one of the poses, you get this down pose. And in this pose, this statue comes out to being 21 1/4 inches tall. And in the other of these two poses, you get this flight pose, which is really nice as well. It makes it a total of 27.5 inches tall. And that's most likely why I will be displaying it in the other pose, just because this pose is very big. I have a lot of big statues already. It makes it kind of hard to find some room for a lot of taller statues. So I'll pretty much be displaying it in the other pose just because it's a lot more manageable to display. But at the same time, this pose is fucking beautiful, you guys. I definitely love it. You guys tell me, man, if you guys had this piece, how would you guys display it? What's your favorite of the two? Now, getting into the base, this is actually where I think a lot of people are actually torn apart when it comes to this statue. About 50% of the people like it, and another 50% of the people really don't like it. One thing that I really love about this base is that with a lot of these statues that we're getting in, you get a very generic like rock base, something like that. With this base, it really reminds me of Tony Stark. Very bold, very flashy. It does say NKVII in Roman numerals at 7, so Mark 7. The only other thing that I think that they could have added to the base to make it even more Tony Stark is to just put like Stark Industries or something else on it like that. But they do have Iron Man engraved into this side of the base. And now on this side of the base, they do have all these gears and sprockets that are placed on this side of the base as well. Now, another reason why I actually really like this base is because it's pretty much like a nameplate, and I know a lot of people don't really like nameplates. I'm actually one of the few that really enjoys nameplates when it comes to statues, and I'm going to tell you guys the reason why right now. You look at the front of a comic, you get the name, the banner, and you get, you know, a representation of the characters, anything like that. Well, that's pretty much what I see when I'm looking at this piece. I see the whole package deal. You know, it really ties it in together. You know, that's how I see it, you guys. That's the feeling that I get from it. So I really enjoy it. When it comes to nameplates in general on statues, you don't have to, you know, connect the nameplate to a piece. You can pretty much just leave it off to the side, keep it detachable. Whoever wants to display it can display it. Whoever doesn't want to can just throw that shit to the side. It's all good. Another thing that XM Studios has done for us is that they've given us this pad that you go ahead and place underneath the base. And the reason why they give us this pad, it has the same feeling of like a mouse pad. This base does flip up on its side for the secondary pose. If you wouldn't have this pad right here, you would have to have little felt pads right here on the statue. So in this pose, you would see those felt pads on the front of the statue. So by giving us this pad right here, we can go ahead and flip it up, and you don't have to have those pads on there as well. And at the same time, they're giving us this so that this part of the front of the base doesn't get all scratched up. That was a really good idea with XM Studios. I haven't seen anybody else do that. But at the same time, there's always going to be people out there that don't like the look of this padding right here. I can see where it does kind of attract your eyes to it a little bit. For the most part, most people aren't even going to notice it. At the same time, I kind of wish that you guys would have put some other felt pads on the bottom of this base only, not on the front, just on the bottom, for the people that do want to keep it in this pose and do it without this mouse pad. Talking about bold and in your face, you guys, this paint job is absolutely beautiful. You know, it has that very shiny automotive type finish to it, and when you're looking at it, you get all this different light reflected towards you at different angles. Really look like it's been dipped in butter. Really shiny, really beautiful, and I just can't get enough of it. Looking just like candy. It really pops in your collection, because a lot of the statues you see behind me, you know, they have a very, you know, like a dull skin tone type paint job to them. And this one's just very shiny, just really pops. And as soon as you go ahead and come into the collection room, it just pulls you in, because that shininess, man, it's just like seeing a silver dollar on the floor, something like that. You're just gonna gravitate towards it. Now, one thing that we do need to talk about is that this statue does not offer any light up features. In today's market, most Iron Man pieces are gonna have light up features. One thing I have noticed about most of those light up features is that when they're not on, just like say Sideshow War Machine Maquette, when that piece isn't on his arc reactor on his chest, it's pretty much just a really ugly looking piece of glass or plastic, and it has no detail at all. Now, one thing that it does do is that it lets the light shine through, but when you look at this arc reactor, even though it doesn't have a light up feature, it does have multiple layers that go in deep inside of his chest, so that you get a very multi-dimensional look to it. Looks really good. Honestly, I do like light up features, but I really don't think that they're necessary all the time. And when I'm looking at this statue, it just feels very refined. And if it would have had that really ugly just piece of plastic placed there to let the light shine through, I think that it would have actually taken away from this piece. So I actually really enjoy this arc reactor. I think it's the best looking arc reactor and the most accurate looking arc reactor out of all the Iron Man pieces I've ever seen. And to tell you the truth, with a lot of light up features, they do pretty much hollow out the statue so that you get the electrical being ran through the piece. But if it means I either get a hollow piece or a very heavy, high quality filling piece, I would go with the high quality piece, hands down, every time. If anybody knows me, I really love heavy statues, and when I pick up a piece, I want to feel, you know, how substantial it is, how heavy it is. Just gives me that very premium feel to it. I know a lot of people really don't care about that, and to tell you the truth, when it comes to really big statues, of course you're not going to want a heavy ass piece, because you're not going to be able to fucking display it. You know, your shelf is going to break apart on you. But when it comes to a piece like this that has a very moderate size to it, something easy to display, yes, I want a heavy statue. Another thing with the light up features on all the other Sideshow Iron Man pieces that do have the light up features, on the eyes, if they're not turned on those pieces, it's very dark and you can't really see his eyes at all. But this one, because the eyes are painted in white, they're very bold and they really pop when you look at it, and you don't have to have the light on or anything like that to really notice his eyes. One thing that I'm really not a fan of is his repulsors inside of his hands. They're just like this little white sticker that's been placed on his hands to make it look like the repulsor. I think that there's something that they could have done differently to give it a better look, because honestly, when you look at it, it looks like it's a piece of paper that's been hole punched and just, you know, stuck to his hand. It does kind of stick out, and I definitely think that there's something that they could have done better in that certain application. This piece does only come with one head sculpt. So right here, this head sculpt right here, what you're seeing is what you're gonna get. If I had the choice to choose between one head sculpt or one pose, I would rather go with two poses, because you're getting a lot more for your money. You're getting a whole second pose, and not just a second pose that changes the look of the statue just a little bit. With that second flight pose, you're getting a completely different look to the statue. If they would have given us an unmasked portrait or anything like that for this statue, I wouldn't have used it anyways. It would have stayed inside the box, because I really do not use any unmasked portraits on any of my statues. I do use unmasked, but it's only on Predators, just because I really love the way Predators look with all their mandibles and all that shit. Just makes them look really menacing and nasty and gnarly. But I mean, you know, pretty much, you know, for my comic related characters, shit like that, masked all day, every day. Another thing that I really love about this piece is that he has all these different flaps that are open. And this isn't something that you really see a lot with Iron Man pieces. I just feel like it gives it so much added motion. Really makes him look like he's going to go ahead and leap into action. And you're seeing all these different exposed thrusters. I definitely love the way this looks. He also has some more flaps open on his forearms, and he has these missiles engaged, locked and loaded, ready to fire. And speaking of missiles, he has a shit ton of really small decoy missiles on both sides of his collar. ready to be fired. Every single one of these flaps and attachments, including his arms from his elbow down, they're all attached with very strong magnets, and that's actually a reason why I want you guys to go ahead and check out the unboxing, because you guys can see when I'm assembling this piece just how strong these magnets really are. It's very stable, and these parts aren't going to be going anywhere. He also has these flaps open on his rib cage that are exposing another part of his stabilizing thrusters. One thing that you guys are actually going to have to be careful about when you guys are assembling this statue is that right here you have all these other hydraulic pistons. On the picture of the packaging instructions, XM Studios has actually left a little note right there stating that you guys need to be careful with that part of the piece, because it's a really delicate part of the piece. You know, all these different little hydraulic pistons that are there, they're probably just there, you know, added on there with just a little dab of glue, and if you go ahead and apply any sort of pressure, you guys, it's probably just gonna pop off and break very easily. And I think it's actually a really good thing that they actually put in on the packaging instructions that little note, just to give you guys a really quick heads up. On this down pose, one thing that's really different with it is that these missiles that are exposed on the flight pose are actually all closed up on his upper thighs right here. So these are the missiles I was talking about before. These missiles that he has right here on his upper thigh, they are exposed in this pose, but they aren't exposed in the other pose. Another really nice thing that they've done with this pose is that right here on this foot, they've actually added a very small little felt pad so that when this piece is placed in position, it's not going to go ahead and give you a lot of excessive scratch marks on the base or on the foot itself. So I think that was a really nice touch from XM, and they're definitely thinking of the future when it comes to your statues. That's one thing that they're really good at. They add in a lot of support when it comes to your piece. This piece has a really thick rod all the way going from the bottom of the foot all the way up into the inner thigh. I'm sure they've done it even more when it comes to the flight pose. They're really worried, and they pay a lot of attention to all the engineering aspects of the piece, and I really don't think you're gonna have any problems with leaning or any issues when it comes to that. It's all about those really small details, those things that a lot of people are gonna overlook. That's what makes me want to go ahead and keep on buying your pieces. Just the little details, the extra touch to really show us that you guys are really paying attention to what you guys are producing. Just want to say thank you. Keep up the good work. I appreciate it, and not only do I appreciate it, but the rest of the community appreciates it. Now, one thing that I think that they should have done differently with this pose, pretty much just a nitpick, but I know a lot of people feel the same way. This peg is exposed at certain angles. You can actually see the peg that gets inserted into the base. It's a very important part of the statue because it keeps the statue very stable. I'm pretty sure that this peg goes all the way up to his thigh, so I'm sure that it's keeping it very strong and stable in there. But one thing that I think that they should have done is they should have bored the actual hole into the base a little bit deeper, just so that you wouldn't be seeing so much of the exposed peg, because it is a little eyesore. The reason why they are giving you so much clearance is so that when this statue spins around, because it's a circle peg, it does have the ability to spin around. It just makes it a lot easier to have scratches and damages from the actual foot spinning around if there was less of a clearance. Now, one thing that they could have done, they could have bored it in deeper like I said before, or they could have made that peg out of a square rod instead of a circular rod, just so that it's not spinning around to begin with. Now, that being said, I could see where some people would say that it's a benefit just because it gives you different display options and shit like that. It makes it easier to display the statue. Maybe you have an area where you can only put the base in, you know, sideways, and then you still want Iron Man to be front and center. So, you know, I can see that. So it's pretty much just a nitpick. There is some things they could have done to improve it. Whatever the reason is, it's really not a problem to me. And if you don't like it at all, you guys, you get that second pose so you can switch it up and you don't have to see it at all. Another thing that they could have done differently, you guys, they could have included an art print with this statue. All of the other statues that I bought from XM Studios, they have all came with art prints. And I don't know why this one didn't come with one, because all of the other ones I have are comic related statues, and this one is a movie related statue, so maybe that's the reason why this didn't come with an art print. But at the same time, I'm already used to the art prints from all the other statues I've bought, so when I didn't get an art print with this one, I was a little let down. It's not a deal breaker for me, but you know, you get used to something, you kind of still want it. And another thing, since we're already on the topic of not getting something that you're used to, it's these coins, man. I gotta say, I definitely love it when XM Studios used to supply the coins with the statues. I'm just saying, you guys, I really love it. I do hope that they would bring them back. I know that they said a reason why they stopped producing the coins is they used to only give out coins to half the run of the statue. So a lot of people were almost taking it as it was an exclusive part of the statue. But to fix that, I say go ahead and give every single statue a coin, all 999 pieces of the 999 part run. So it doesn't make an exclusive, it just makes it an extra add-on. I really feel like it would have been the cherry on top for this piece, you guys. This piece is super shiny. I think it would have set it off, you guys. And a closed mouth doesn't get fed. So if I don't bring it up, you know, it's just not going to be a problem. Bring that shit back. I love it. I really miss it, man. Honestly. All in all, you guys, I have to say that I'm extremely happy with this piece. Not only does it get the Cartel from Hell seal of approval all day, every day, but I can honestly say that this is a recommendation from me. And if you guys are on the fence about it, jump the fuck off and order this piece as fast as you can. You guys might have to pay more than retail. If you get a really good price on it, do not hesitate because you probably won't get it again. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. Catch me if you can on the next one. Cartel out. Thanks for watching.